And for more on this, we welcome Caroline Glick, senior contributing editor for the Jewish News Syndicate. Caroline, thank you for being here. We'll dive right in. So this war is ramping up, specifically in Gaza, second largest city, as we outlined. Do you see another truce or ceasefire coming anytime soon as this fighting intensifies?
It doesn't seem as though that's going to be a possibility. No, I don't see it. No.
So the UN now saying it's not possible to create civilian safe zones in Gaza. And the IDF is reporting that 2 civilians have been killed for every dead Hamas fighter in Gaza. The IDF saying also that they are using humans as shields as a part of their core strategy, and that they've repeatedly issued warnings to civilians on the Strip. So how do you see their operations, the IDF's, further evolving as this fighting now moves south? And as you know, that area very densely populated.
It really depends on the United States and on Europe and on Egypt. I'm sorry, because the truth is that everybody who, like Israel, cares about minimizing human suffering and civilian casualties in this war should be doing one thing, which is putting pressure on Egypt to open the border between Gaza and Egypt, and allowing the refugees to leave the war zone and temporarily resettle in the Sinai Peninsula or in third countries, just as happens in every single other war zone in the world. And unfortunately, what's happening is that you hear everyone from the Vice President of the United States to the UN General Secretary screaming about the humanitarian crisis in Gaza and insisting that Israel limit casualties, but they're not allowing the one thing that could minimize those casualties to happen, which is for these people to be allowed to leave Gaza and seek shelter in third countries. That is what happens in Ukraine. That is what has happened in every war zone in the Middle East and throughout the world over time. And it's only the Palestinians that Vice President Kamala Harris said just on Saturday, under no circumstances will the United States permit the relocations of Palestinians from Gaza or the West Bank. And I don't understand why this is U.S. policy. The United States clearly wants to minimize civilian casualties, and the Biden administration should be pushing Egypt, which receives billions of dollars in aid from the United States every year, to open up its borders to allow people to flee the war zone.
So I want to get to the hostages as well, because this, as you know, is another very important aspect of the conflict in general. Israel says several women are still being held by Hamas. Here's what the U.S. State Department had to say about why Hamas is holding back on freeing the hostages, and then we'll come back for a question.
The fact that they continue to hold women hostages, the fact that they continue to hold children hostages, the fact that it seems one of the reasons they don't want to turn women over that they've been holding hostage, and the reason this pause fell apart, is they don't want those women to be able to talk about what happened to them during their time in custody. Certainly, there is very little that I would put beyond Hamas when it comes to its treatment of civilians, and particularly its treatment of women.
So, Caroline, what do you make of this assessment? Do you believe it's spot on?
I think it's unfortunately probably spot on. We're very worried about it. There's a tradition inside of the jihadist doctrine of enslaving women, enemy prisoners, female enemy prisoners, as sex slaves. We obviously saw it with the Yazidis, and we've clearly seen it with the brutalization of the Israeli women who fell victim to Hamas on October 7th, and also from the stories that we've been receiving from some of the released hostages from Gaza. So there's every reason to fear the sexual brutalization of our women and perhaps of our men as well, who are being held by Hamas in Gaza. And yes, there's a great and grave and growing fear for their fate as the days pass.
I apologize, we only have about 40 seconds left, but I'd love to get to this as well. The new reports suggesting Israel is considering flooding Hamas tunnels with seawater. What do you make of that strategy, Caroline? Is there any concern about the safety of those remaining hostages? I would imagine that would be on the forefront of this potential strategy.
It is. I think that the basic idea is that it's very hard for us to kill them underground. They know the tunnels, we don't. And so the idea is to get them above ground so that we can kill as many of the Hamas terrorists as possible.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.